Hello everyone and welcome to Crafting with Amy. I'm Amy, and if you're new here, I want to welcome you, and I hope if you like what you see, you'll consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell and like and leaving me a comment. And if you're a returning subscriber, I really appreciate all of you. This is a compilation video of my favorite fall crafts that I've done this fall. And the first one I just call it a wood looking pumpkin. I start with this styrofoam pumpkin from Dollar Tree that I had gotten and started painting it a couple of years ago actually. And it had a lot of imperfections in it. So I just stopped and thought, well, I'll put fabric on it or something. But I dug it out and I'm putting, it has white chalk paint on it, and now I'm putting Waverly Antique Wax on it. And you know, some of that showed through, and I was okay with that because I really liked the way this one looked. To me, it made it kind of look like grainy wood. So I just apply that to the entire pumpkin. And after I do this, I'm going to go ahead and start my Christmas, even though I still love doing fall. I love doing Christmas also. It just seems odd to me to start this soon, but people have already started. So, and I'm going to upload my next video, which will be Christmas, on Saturday. I'm going to try to start doing, now that I've got more of a hang of it, I'm going to do more than one video a week. So I'm planning on Saturdays and Wednesdays. So once I get all of that, and I'll let it dry. I think I dried it with a hairdryer. I have some, it's ribbon that I got. It's like I don't really know. It's kind of like a mesh ribbon that I got at Hobby Lobby a couple of years ago. And I love that ribbon. So I start by, and you want to make sure you have your finger protectors on, by attaching this ribbon, going around it, coming back up. And I do that with two pieces of the ribbon. I think about covering the whole thing, and then I changed my mind. But it was at this point that I thought, I had some pins that I could have used that are kind of, I think someone told me that they were maybe hat pins. I don't know. I had used them for the center of a wreath. But I thought about it like right here. But they're really good for stuff like this. So I take those to better secure it and put them down. Now I'm going to take, it's Antique Parchment by, I think, Apple Barrel. It's a matte antique parchment. And I just dry brush over the ribbon and some on the pumpkin itself, using one of those brushes you get, I think 3 in a pack from Dollar Tree. And in places I'm heavier handed than others, but I really like the way that this turned out. When I started my channel last year, it was after I had already done my fall stuff, so it was mostly Christmas and then Easter and spring. And I'm trying to get my channel to grow. I really hope that you all will consider subscribing, commenting. Now I have taken the, I call it, they're just little logs. I got those at Hobby Lobby because I couldn't find any at our Dollar Tree. And I put one of those, and I do go back and end up gluing it because the hole was, it was a little loose in there. And now I'm taking some Spanish moss and just attaching up at the top. You want to, again, be sure to get those finger protectors. They come 3 in a pack for now $1.25. But they're silicone, so they last. And now I have this pitberry garland that also came from Hobby Lobby because I've never been able to get it at our Dollar Tree. And I'm wrapping it around a pencil to make the little tendrils. See, that's when I realized that the pumpkin stem needed to be glued, and I end up doing that. But I don't know if I show it. So I'm just gluing these down. I wanted to keep this just real rustic and simple looking, and I love it. I think it's my favorite pumpkin that I've done. And I think about putting the orange or pumpkin color, another tendril, but I don't do it. I just leave it. I just leave it like that. And there it is, finished. And this is a pumpkin sign that I made with a sign from Dollar Tree. It's actually a 2-sided sign. And I'm going to use the white Waverly chalk paint to paint that side. And since the other side doesn't get harmed, you know, I don't get stuff all over it or anything, it makes for a good 2-sided sign. So I just give this, I think I gave it 2 coats and let it dry. I'm impatient, so I'm sure I dried it with a hairdryer. And then the printable, I have not figured out how to link these printables. I don't know what I have to do, but now I'm going to attach it with glue stick. That's my go-to. Mod Podge and I use it sometimes, but we don't get along real well. But I did just go to free printables, like free fall printables, free pumpkin printables, and there are a ton of images on there. And this one doesn't show up as good in the picture as it does in real life. I guess it's the lighting in there. But I put that down and allow it to dry. Well, no, I guess I'll go ahead and I'm distressing it with Waverly Antique Wax, and I'm heavy-handed here because I want it to look old. And it says Farm Fresh Pumpkins, 25 cents a pound. But like I said, this one shows up better in person. I now have a better setup. We have, we just did it yesterday where my camera is going to be overhead and coming straight down. And then I have a lamp that I put in there. Now I have this little ribbon with pumpkins on it from Hobby Lobby. And I was just trying to figure out where I wanted to put it, and I end up attaching it at the bottom of the printable and up at the top. But this will just, this is just to give you all some ideas if you haven't seen some of my other videos where I did these. You gotta wear those finger protectors. Or use one of those, they have those spatulas, I think they're makeup applicator with silicone on the end. But the finger protectors really do help. I just love the way this turned out. I didn't put everything in here because there were some that I just wasn't crazy about. We all have those moments where we're like, what? What did I do? I'm just making sure I've got that cut. See, I think the other side's pretty also. So now I'm going to make a hanger, or there were already hose there. I'm just going to add the hanger back. And I put the knots to the front, like I tied in the front. So I just put some small jute cord through there, or jute twine. Figure out how long I want it to be, and then I make a double knot. And I think about putting those, I have some pale, about the color of those pumpkins, some beads. But I end up just putting those, or one of those, in the middle of the bow. I make a little bow with burlap, just an awareness bow, and then the pumpkin ribbon, and put that in there. And I think that's just, I like it. But it doesn't show up as well here because of the lighting. And this one, I just call it a pumpkin stand. I had these ovals from Easter time, and I thought, I'm going to use those to make a pumpkin. So I have this scrapbook paper, and my scrapbook paper came from Walmart. Those rounds came from Dollar Tree, or ovals from Dollar Tree back in the spring. And I have 3 of them. But I'm going to cut out this. I love this scrapbook paper. Only two, and for the third oval where those holes were, I put wood filler in there and sanded it down. But now I'm just going to apply this with my glue stick, and the glue stick came from Dollar Tree. And then I just put some weight on it, just to help it stick down better. I turn them over. So now for this third round, like I said, I had put some wood filler in the hole, since that one is going to go on top of the other two. And I'm painting it with Folk Art matte paint in elephant, or wait, yeah, elephant. And I give this 2 coats. I don't show that, but, and I go around the edges because that will show. And as usual, I'm sure I used my hair dryer because I don't like waiting for paint to dry. And then I have this stand. Well, it was actually a piece that I'm going to use for a stand of just some scrap wood. And I'm going to dry. I painted it with the elephant gray also. And I have these letters. I start out painting them white. And they spell out fall. They're just little wooden letters. And I think they either came from Walmart or Dollar Tree. But as I was I tried to put some stitching on there, and it looked awful. So I ended up taking a marker, furniture marker, and painting the letters black. And now I'm just dry brushing with my Waverly chalk paint in Snow White. I do it to all 3 of the pieces in the stand. But I'm not real concerned about the middle there because I know those letters are going to go there. And it doesn't show up really good on the sandpaper. On the ones with the scrapbook paper, but it does show up a little bit. And now I'm just sanding off that excess paper. Because I don't think I showed that. I used a X-Acto knife to cut the scrapbook paper. And so I just do a little bit of the dry brushing of the white on those as well. And now it's time to assemble these on the stand. So I take some hot glue and I join those 2 on the sides. And I don't get these real straight. And now I'm going to take the gray one and hot glue it to the top. That'll be the center of the pumpkin. And then I glue them down to the base. And like I said, this is just a scrap piece of wood I had from a sign that I had cut. Now for stability, I'm going to take some of these little wood cubes from Dollar Tree and attach those to the back. I think I do 2 behind each pumpkin. The 2 end pumpkins. Or this is 1 pumpkin, but the 2 ovals on the ends. And I don't know why I didn't put the words down first, but now I have this chicken wire ribbon. I love this stuff. And I'm just going to start rolling it. This is going to be my stem. And I just kind of mold it into the shape of a pumpkin stem. And then of course you have to cut it. You got to be very careful. I bend the wires down with pliers, and I flatten the bottom of it so it'll adhere better to the back. And I was going to leave it like that, but it just didn't stand out enough. So after I get it glued, which is, use your finger protectors, I think I forgot, and that's not fun. But I just take it and glue it to that middle part of the pumpkin. And you have to make sure you get it adhered pretty good. And watch those fingers. Now I'm going to put just some more hot glue on there to make sure it's good and secure. And you could cover the back of this if you wanted to with craft paper. I didn't this one. But I do several of my crafts that way. And so now I realize that that's just not going to stand out. I love that chicken wire look. So I take some, well, I don't know what happened to that. I take some jute rope or jute twine and wrap it around the top, hot glue it to the top or around the stem. And now I'm taking some Spanish moss and putting down in front of the pumpkin on that stand. I make a huge mess with that stuff. And then you have to cut off the excess, and I have a couple of pine cones off of off of a pick that I put on each side. And these little white flowers, they came off of a pick also, but I just thought they were really pretty and simple. And I'm just figuring out where I'm going to put them before I glue them down. And now I just glue those in place. And that one wants to droop on me, so in a second I go back and put a little bit of hot glue to make it stand up. And these came off of a pick. I think these actually did come from Dollar Tree. I wasn't able to find very many picks at Dollar Tree. Most of them came from Walmart. And then I take one more pine cone. Now I'm trimming up the Spanish moss and place it in the center. And that's the finished product. I like it. It matches our TV stand really well. Okay, for this next one, I had a time. This was one of my first ones, I think, for this fall season. I have these wood planks from Dollar Tree, 2 different sizes. And I thought for this that my husband's hot glue gun would do better because it's more heavy duty. And they didn't have wood glue. So I try this and come to find out I'm putting the wrong size on. Yeah, I put the wrong size down twice. And then I realize it, and then I end up having to get my hot glue gun out because that's what it took. So now I have assembled it. I'm making a shadow box, and I have some foam board from Dollar Tree, and I just traced that out and cutting it with my X-Acto knife. Trying to cut it with my X-Acto knife. And now I'm going to take some sandpaper and just clean those edges up. And I have a placemat with the blue truck that says make memories along the way. I just love that placemat. And I'm going to measure and cut it. And it keeps moving around. It keeps moving around on me. They have some very pretty placemats. I don't know about now. But at that time they had these, and I had two different ones. One's that 2 of them say all roads lead to home. And now I'm just trimming because those are curved. So I'm just trimming those down. So depending on how big you make your shadow box, is what you would obviously need to cut that down to. Now I'm going to paint the box with Waverly Agave chalk paint. And I don't know what happened to that, but what I did was stapled the foam and the mat to the back in the corners and on the sides. And so it has a real clean back. And I didn't want to overdo it on this because I wanted the truck to be the focal point. So I'm taking some Spanish moss. And this was before I got my camera. I think that this was my first one I did after I got my craft room set up. Or we got the craft room set up. And my camera's over to the side, so I'm just gluing down the Spanish moss. And I have a little pumpkin and a gourd off of a fall garland that matched the flowers that are in the back of the truck. And I just glued those down. And I put a hanger on this, but honestly, I think it's better just I have it on the counter. It's just better standing up, in my opinion. But that is the finished product. Well, I'm putting the hanger on the back. And I make it way too long. And to do that, I just tie some knots. See how much? I had a lot extra there and then just glue those down and let it set up. But I really like this one. And it's the first thing I made when I got my craft room set up. So there is the finished product. Okay, for this next one, I end up not using that. Yeah, well, I use the white. Excuse me. I have these 3 pumpkins from Dollar Tree that are on the stands. And I start off by taking, initially I was going to leave them on the stands. And I totally changed my mind about what I'm going to do. I mean, totally. And then you get that burlap off of there. And this stand came off. And then I was like, I could have put it back on the stand, but I decided to keep it off the stand and go a totally different route. So then I sanded. I did the same thing to the other 2. And then I have this stake from Dollar Tree. And I removed those signs. And get it ready to paint. I do paint it with the Waverly chalk paint in Snow White. And after sanding those, I got this. It was in the sewing department at Hobby Lobby. I thought it looked cool. It looked like metal. And it's pretty thick. So I do the larger pumpkin in it, just trace around it. And for it, I have to glue it on with hot glue. It's pretty heavy. I don't know what the backing is, but I thought that was just really neat. I like those colors. So I just hot glue this down. I try to do a little at a time so it doesn't dry on me and have a big ridge. And you don't have to worry about that paint showing through. Now this is shelf liner from Dollar Tree, and it has some gray leaves and stuff. I thought it was really pretty. So I trace it out for the other two pumpkins. And now I'm taking just regular faux art black matte paint, and there's some water in that cup. I'm trying to make a stain because I have these, they were in the sewing department at Hobby Lobby. They're silver tacks, but I want to stain them. And then this was ribbon that was in the sewing department. It's metal from Hobby Lobby, and I cut it at 9 inches. 2 of them, 2 pieces. And I got the tacks out to dry, and I'm using that same stain that I made. And one of these little stencil brushes from Dollar Tree, or sponges. And I didn't want it real heavy, I just wanted it on that raised up part. I don't know how they could sew with this. So now the tacks have dried, and I'm going to hot glue them down to the silver pumpkin. And I just went around it. And now for these, I'm going to take these, and you have to push down because where they're raised up on top, you know, they're sunk in underneath. And I just hot glue this down, and make sure you have those finger protectors on because that gets hot. And the metal is sharp. So I use something to help me. And then I just turn those to the back. I've already done that one. And I've taken this bucket that I got at Dollar Tree. I've repurposed this actually. I had it for spring. And painted it with a gray Rust-Oleum spray paint outside. And then, because it was too shiny, I put matte Mod Podge on it and let that dry overnight. And it dulled down the shine. And now I'm taking floral foam. If I were going to sell this, I would put brand new floral foam, but I'll probably repurpose it. But I glue that floral foam down, and then I add more. There's a rock in the bottom. I put a good size rock for stability. And it's not as big as it looks. It's just the way the camera looks, and even when I take pictures of it, it looks bigger at the end. But I have it sitting in our living room, and it's not as big as what, I don't know why it looks so big here, but so I put Spanish moss. I think about putting some of those little logs down. Oh, I made a bow out of buffalo check and put some little bead embellishments I had. And this is one of my favorites because I just love that look. And this is out of order because this is a farmhouse cutting board sign. The sign came from Dollar Tree, and that is some buffalo check or plaid permanent vinyl that came from Dollar Tree. And it has that shiny look, so I put matte Mod Podge on it also because I wanted that shine gone. But I'm just going to paint the handle and ignore my hair. I had taken a shower and my hair is wet. I just let my hair air dry most of the time. And I do go around all of the side because all of the side of this will show. And I'm not going to use the other side of this sign, so I'm not worried about paint getting on it. So now I'm going to trace it out onto this permanent vinyl. And some of these signs are kind of warped, so you want to make sure you press down really well. I don't do the handle. They have so many different colors of vinyl. I got a turquoise, and I think they have white, pink, lavender. They had this. And now I'm just cutting that out. And smoothing it out to make sure the air bubbles come out. I have a free printable there that I got online that's going to go on this sign also. Now I'm just using the X-Acto knife to cut that vinyl away. I really like how this one turned out. This is the first time I've ever been able to get the cutting boards at our Dollar Tree. Well, any Dollar Tree. I don't know why I left all this in. I'm sorry. It's just cutting around the vinyl. And I do have this sped up because if I didn't, I mean, I know this is a compilation video, so it's going to be longer anyway, but it would be very, very, very long. And now I put the Mod Podge. No, oh wait. I take the craft paper and put on the back. And then I make a hole in the craft paper, cut a hole so I can have a place for the hanger. This just gives it a nice finished look. If I don't sell crafts, but if you did, or if you're gonna, you know, instead of hanging it on a wall, if you're gonna lean it up against something, it just gives it a nice finished look. So definitely if you sell crafts, you want to do this, or some people just do it because they just want them to look nice. So I'm taking this printable and I'm going to use my glue stick to apply it. It says Farm Fresh Pumpkins, complimentary hay rides and cider, and I leave the source down at the bottom, but I still don't know how to link these free printables. My computer puts them in a weird place and changes them, and that's why I can't link them, I guess. I don't know. So now I'm taking the Mod Podge, matte Mod Podge, and going over the entire sign. And then you have to let that dry. But it will take that shine down. I don't go over the complete sign in the middle with the Mod Podge. Well, yes I do. I don't know. Not very much. Now I'm going to, that has dried, and I'm going to take that black matte paint and dry brush on the sign, or printable. And I do it real light because I think this has enough contrast with the. So I have these little pumpkins from Dollar Tree, and I mixed Harvest Orange and Chocolate Bar together to get a color that was close to that pumpkin on the printable. And I have halved those. Well, I took two and halved them because I wanted the stem. And I'm sorry I'm out of frame here. I keep bumping my camera. I'm so glad now for my next video it's going to be up above me, and I don't have to deal with that and it get out of frame and stuff because I hit the tripod. I took orange jute that I had gotten from Hobby Lobby, and I framed out the printable with it. I just hot glued it down. And now I'm making a bow with this buffalo check. And on this one, excuse me, on this one, I do put the little orange bead. It's a pale orange in the center of the bow. I cut that buffalo check in half. The ribbon. And it's just a little awareness bow, and I'm tying it with some jute. And initially I was going to use the orange cord for the hanger, or no, the buffalo check ribbon, and I didn't like it, so I ended up using the orange jute. And I apologize, I'm out of frame again. The way we have this set up now, it's going to be so much better. And now I assume I'm taking the pitberry garland and going around. And I just like that. I think it's very pretty. This was more of a farmhouse type video, and I used to do that. I wish I had made videos last year at fall time, because I made all of my fall decor was farmhouse. This year I decided I wanted to go back to a more traditional look. But I think that's pretty, and it's one of my favorites. Let me know what you think in the comments. And then I wanted to make a garland with these acorns and leaves, the little ornaments that come in the 8-pack from Dollar Tree. So I'm going to make a stain again with that black matte paint and some water, because I want to go with this same color scheme. And I get smart and use my gloves this time, because I made a mess with those tacks, getting them out. So now I have, I'm going to spell out the word autumn, alternating the acorns and the leaves. And I just have a stencil and my Waverly chalk paint in Snow White. And I was going to use all this different type of stuff for ribbon, and it didn't work, so I end up just putting the buffalo check in between it. And that is going to be, that's white jute rope or jute twine from Walmart. And I'm just going to attach these with glue. To my twine. I now have an Instagram and TikTok account. There it is with the garland in between, or the ribbon in between, and I put some embellishment, some of the same type beads to cover the holes. And I have that hanging in our living room. Now this was another one of my earlier videos after I got the craft room set up. I have these over to the left. I have these fence posts, or not fence posts, they're yard sale stakes that came from Walmart. And to attach them, I'm using these popsicle sticks, and I just cut them off to make them square. I wanted those to be the post or yard sale stake to be 4 inches apart. So I've got them measured up there, and then I glued those together and glued them to the back for support. And then I'm taking some flat square dowels and cut those to attach the popsicle sticks. And I don't know what happened to that. I took some of the, you can get them, they're in I think a 6-pack. They have rectangular and square packs of wood planks. And it looks like I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the rectangular ones. And then I cut the square ones to 3 inches and made the ends and glued those together, because this is going to be like a fence with a little flower box. And I just glue that to the front. It's not perfect, and to keep from doing any more cutting, it has a little bit of an overhang on each side, but I'm fine with that. I'll use this and repurpose it. And I've painted it white. I think I remember this. I messed this up editing or something. And I've distressed it. And now I'm taking some orange burlap ribbon from Dollar Tree and gluing around the little box. And some floral foam. I won't glue this down because I'll repurpose this for like Christmas. You know, maybe put a wreath on it or something and change out the colors, repaint it. So when I'm going to do that, I don't glue the floral foam down. But I painted it with antique white, or not antique white, Waverly chalk paint and Snow White, and then distressed it with Waverly antique wax. Now I have these picks that I got from Walmart. No, some of those came off of a garland that I made last year. I made a really big garland for our front door. Some of them are new and some of them are repurposed. And I'm just placing those like I like them, cutting some up. Because some of them I've already cut stuff off of. And some of them I have put zip ties on because I had them zip tied to our garland. I repurpose everything almost. You know, until it just gets looking, you know, bad. Or before it gets looking bad. So I'm just putting some leaves down. I'm trying to make it even on each side. What I do to one side, I'm doing to the other. And those had feathers. I thought those were cool. So some of these leaves, I had already taken stuff off of them, of the picks, so I'm just pushing the leaves up onto the picks. Just for some filler. And then I think I take a little, the galvanized thankful sign from Dollar Tree and paint it in Tuscan red. And I hang it with jute because there's 2 holes up there, and I put a little half of a pumpkin pick. I cut it in half and glued to the ribbon. And these are my Instagram and TikTok, the way you can reach me there. I don't know how to put the link, but I know that's what I'm called on there. This is new to me. And I absolutely love this one. I did this one as part of a collaboration with Lori with the Crafty Connection. And that's just a pumpkin from Dollar Tree. And the scrapbook papers from Walmart. And then that's another printable. I just did this one. I think we uploaded them Sunday. So I took the leaf off, sanded it, and now I'm going to put Mod Podge on it. And I really liked, because I wasn't anywhere to get any season specific scrapbook paper. So I had this one from Walmart, had a whole lot of different stuff in it. And I really like that. It just screams fall to me. Now I'm going to cut around that. I don't think I show that. And I've cut a piece of cardboard. And I'm going to attach my little printable. I just cut out the center of that. Well, it's the actual printable. And I'm going to glue it down with glue stick to this cardboard. Because I want to elevate it. And you got to make sure that's down good, and sometimes I have to go back around corners. And then I'll take a little bit and go around the edges. And I'll let it dry. And now I'm going to cut this out with my X-Acto knife. And I finished this one out. You don't see that on the back, because I'm not making this a double-sided sign. And now I'm going to cut this with just scissors. I start with the X-Acto knife, but you had to put a little bit more pressure, and I was afraid I was going to cut into the paper, so I just used scissors. And then I take double-sided tape. It comes 3 in a pack for $1 at Dollar Tree. And this is my first time using it. But I wanted that to be a little elevated off of that sign. And since it's the first time I used it, I was like, why isn't it sticky on both sides? I didn't know that you had to peel the paper off. Now I know. I did that with Velcro one time too. I was making a pillow, and it was the sticky Velcro that you put down, and I put the same side down so it wouldn't fasten. Oy. So yeah, you just peel that stuff off. And now I'm going to put it on the sign. There was just a little bitty bit of that tape sticking out there. So for the handle, I'm going to use this larger jute, and I only go part of the way, stem, part of the way up the pumpkin. I don't go all the way. But I just attach it with some, on the back, with some hot glue. Forgot my finger protectors. And I just wrap it. And then cut it off and glue it to the back. When I cover the back of this one, I don't cover the stem because of that. But it still looks neat. And now I take that same cord, jute twine, and make a border around the printable with as little hot glue as I can get. I didn't even know they made precision tip hot glue guns, but I've been seeing them in other people's videos. And I think I need to get me one of those because this one, just a lot of hot glue comes out if you're not careful. And if you're not fast, it'll set up. It's a little gorilla. I mean, I like it, but... And then I have these two little leaves off of the garland from Dollar Tree. And that is a bow, pre-made raffia bow with a button that came from Hobby Lobby. And I wish on my trip to Hobby Lobby when I was going to get Christmas stuff, I had actually been able to get to the stuff because they were having half off sale. But they had so many pallets stocked just everywhere. And I had been there the week before, and that was the day they got it. So a whole week later, and they still hadn't gotten this stock out of the aisles and stuff to where you could actually get to stuff. So now I've cut this paper out. I showed y'all this earlier on another project, and just push down really good because some of those signs are warped. Is that the word? Warped. Yeah, I mean, not real straight. And I've put a hanger on the back, and I just think that's pretty. Simple, but pretty. I like the colors. I think the contrast is, I think they complement, the colors complement each other. And this is a fall leaf thankful sign. I started out, I had something totally different. This is a Christmas sign from Dollar Tree. I had this burlap that I had already cut down. I had a tea towel that had, or kitchen towel that had fall leaves. Totally changed my mind. And now I have a larger piece of burlap, and that I've cut, and I'm putting Mod Podge down and letting that dry completely. And then I think I'm going to use the X-Acto knife, but that doesn't work so well. I don't know what I was thinking. I end up cutting around it. So like I said, this is another one where I had something totally different in my head. And then I was like, no. I totally changed it. Sometimes I think too much. I know I do. And overthink, but that ribbon came from Hobby Lobby a couple of years ago. Of course, I have more than one roll of it, but it's kind of burlap looking, and it's got some cream in it. I just like the colors. Now, the back of this one I do not cover because I end up putting pitberry on it, and I wrap it around, so it would have been harder to cover. So I do this to both sides, and I don't know why I show both sides. It's either stuff gets cut out on me or I leave too much in. I don't know. This isn't wired ribbon, it's just, but it's pretty. And use those finger protectors. And these are some burlap leaves that came from Dollar Tree. I got them earlier in the season, and they were a different color red. I painted them the Tuscan red for a different project that I ended up deconstructing because I just wasn't pleased with it. And I had these little mini dowels on them that I've glued to them and stained with the Waverly Antique Wax. Now I'm gluing those down. Once I get them, figure out where I want them and get them cut. And this one shoots across the room. I'm glad. Glad nobody was hurt. And that's just, I leave that thankful sign. It came from a package of thankful, grateful, and blessed from Hobby Lobby. And there were 2 sets of them in there. And this pitberry came, I just left the sign, the word natural. And the pitberry came from Hobby Lobby. And I took some of the lace ribbon from Dollar Tree and made a couple of little simple bows and put those on the leaves. I like different textures, and I think this one turned out real pretty too. Okay, this was one of my earlier ones this season. And this is blurry for some reason. I don't know. But this is one of the little crate boxes from Dollar Tree. And I have these wooden beads that I put on for like legs, feet. And I'm using that antique parchment and painting the crate. I don't worry about the inside, but I do the edges. And I have these orange pumpkins, and I wanted to change the color, so I painted them. I only used the Tuscan red ones, but I had to give them 2 coats. I paint some with the antique parchment, but I only end up using the 2 of the little Tuscan red ones. Now I'm taking the antique wax and I'm painting staining and wiping off the feet. And I distressed the little crate. And now these little sunflowers came from Dollar Tree. So I'm going to take one of the larger ones and put on each side. And I have these little rub-on transfers, and they're just little leaves, and I cut those out, and I put those on, rub those on just with my fingernail on the sides of those sunflowers, and then I do the same thing to the back. And now I have this hula skirt, and I'm just putting this in here to look like straw or hay, or I thought I was going to make a bow with some of it, but I didn't. And now I'm just taking parts of picks and some of those the smaller sunflowers and putting them down in there. I'm not making anything permanent. I'm just setting them down in there. This would be good for a tiered tray. And then I put the little pumpkins down in there. Some leaves. And that's it. I think it's cute. I like those colors. So let me know what you all think. I hope it'll give you some inspiration if you're still doing fall. This is it's a truck harvest sign that came from the Family Dollar side. And I'm just taking the antique wax, and I go over the whole thing. And now that is Waverly chalk paint and mineral, and I do a dry brushing over it. And now I'm taking that blue agave, I love that, Waverly blue agave, and painting the truck. That is the prettiest color, I think. And this was a good quality sign. But it came from ours is a Family Dollar and Dollar Tree mixed. And now I'm going to paint the tires black. And I apologize for this being fuzzy. I don't know, because some of my earlier videos were fuzzy. I don't know if it's because I had them sped up too much, or that I had dropped my camera. But my last several haven't been blurry. So I think it's because I had it sped up too much, maybe. Because I'm very slow. So now I'm mixing the Harvest Orange, I think that's what it's called, and the chocolate bar, and I'm going to paint one of the pumpkins in the back of the truck, and then the pumpkins excuse me, over to the side of the truck, or behind it. And then I have that golden sunset, and I'm doing one of the other pumpkins. And then I take the brown and do the little stems on the pumpkins. And I used black, I don't know if I used a furniture marker to go over the Happy Harvest. I think I do after I painted it, and then after I distressed it a little bit too much, so I went back in with a marker. And I just made a little awareness bow with orange and that blue and white check, and put a little pipberry and a hanger. And I think that's cute. That's hanging in my living room. And these are my plaid pumpkins, and obviously these are this isn't DIY number 2. These little pumpkins came from Dollar Tree, and they're different shaped, and they're kind of beveled. And I've already put, this is 2 flannel shirts. And I have already put it on 2 of them to show you, so you don't have to watch it all. I take this spray glue, and I'm trying, because that got all over the wax paper, the spray glue did, so I needed to get it up out of the way. Now I have these 4 crates from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to glue those together end to end, those 2 together end to end, and then put them together that way. And then I paint this with the mineral, Waverly Chalk Paint and Mineral. And initially I was just going to do like so far down the top, because you're not going to see it. But I go ahead and I just paint it all. So now I'm cutting around, because I put weight on that to help it dry. Cutting the excess off. And now I'm going to make little bows, just little finger bows for the pumpkins. And now I have these dowels, and I'm going to attach them to the back, because I'm going to put these down in floral foam. And if the tags were too hard for me to get off, I left them. And now I have floral foam, and I do glue this down. I cut it to the right size, or this might have been the pre-cut. And then I cut down to the size that I want these, and I fiddle around with trying to figure out where I want the placement of these. Too many times. Oh man. And I put Spanish moss, I put some leaves and some gourds, and I do not know what happened to that footage. So now I have 3 more of those pumpkins on the stand from Dollar Tree. But since I'm doing the same thing pretty much to all 3 of them, except for changing a little bit of embellishments, I only show doing 1. I took the burlap off, sanded it down, and I have this is a different texture yarn, but it's that mustard color. It's different texture than what I use in the other ones. So I just do that all the way up the top. There will be places where you, in some of those curves, that you'll have to add some hot glue. And I'm taking one of the blessed words from Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to paint it in the Tuscan red. And I just have that leaf sticking there right now just to see what I think it's going to look like. And all I did to the stem was I think I used furniture marker in mahogany. And now I'm attaching these leaves to the top and hot gluing the blessed word on the front. And I'm taking some Spanish moss and putting around the bottom of the stand. And I really like how these, because I like these colors, I use a rust, a burgundy, and then this mustard color. And now I take a little bit of the Spanish moss and put up at the top of those leaves. And the pipberry garland in, I think that's the orange color. Yeah. And it came from Hobby Lobby, and I just wound it around a pencil. And now I'm gluing it up there to the top. And now I have these little acorns that I got at Hobby Lobby. I think they're so pretty. And I put one on each side. And I'm just thinking of adding something else, and then I changed my mind. And I don't do that either. I changed my mind. So I do take a raffia bow, pre-made raffia bow from Hobby Lobby with a little button. And I put it up at the top. And I think that's it. Yeah. And I think that's pretty. I like the colors. I like the textures. I love texture. And then that's the one I did in the rust and the one I did in the burgundy. And I'm not redoing it here. I'm just showing you. Because on this one I had to cut that off. And then you want to sand it real good. And that is a different texture. That yarn came from Dollar Tree and it's real soft. And I had it in the mustard too, but I used a different texture yarn on that middle one. And this is, I believe, the last one. This is another pumpkin that I ended up doing totally different. I had painted this with some gloss paint and a couple of years ago. I don't like gloss paint, and apparently I just stopped or ran out of time. So now I'm taking the Tuscan red, and of course it makes it kind of streaky, but I end up liking that look, that's showing through. So I go ahead and just paint the whole thing, and when it dries, I liked it. So I take one of those stems and put it in the center. I first start out taking some of this and cutting it, and I think, okay, I'm just going to glue or, you know, wrap it around the top, and it doesn't work. I just made a mess. Me and Raffia don't get along, and apparently me and this hula skirt, that's why I got the hula skirt. But I end up taking the hula skirt where it's has the string at the waist. I finally get smart and cut off enough there to go around it. And this one's blurry too, so I do believe I've gotten this because I'm not speeding them up as much now. So now I'm gluing this down. It's just much easier. And then I give it a haircut. A couple of haircuts. But I want to thank all of you new subscribers, and thank all of my subscribers. I appreciate you all subscribing. I appreciate you watching, leaving me comments. And like I said, I'm going to have a video uploaded Saturday. I'm going to try to start doing 2 a week. And it will be Christmas. So that is the finished product. And you all leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. And I will see you all Saturday. Thank you, and you all have a good day.